You can check out the DLSS 5 video. We hadn't seen one yet. There's like so fucking many of them. You have the Moore's Law is Dead video. You have Digital Foundry just fucking glazing it. You have 2 Clicks Philip, who was mostly glazing it and then got angry when Digital Foundry retracted their statement. Bellula had one too. Yeah, basically everyone has a video. I don't know. We haven't watched that much from Moore's Law is Dead, so I guess we can check this one out.
The geometry looks different on that grace shot, but it's not. It's the same geometry.
So what was your... Here's a question. What was your first reaction when you saw this? And how long did it like take you to sort of perceive what was wrong with it? Because as I was saying earlier, my first reaction to this...
The geometry looks different on that grace shot, but it's not. It's the same geometry.
I was like, oh, that looks good, right? Immediate first reaction. But then I looked at it longer, and then I looked at the other shots, and like, something's wrong about the shot. And I think the most obvious thing you can point to, her hair was dyed. Like, she doesn't even have the same color hair. So in this shot, she has like there's like a shadow where her hairline is, right? Because there's hair there. And the AI interpreted
the geometry
this...
looks different on that grace shot, but it's not. It's the same...
The AI interpreted it as like brunette roots. Like, it's actually just not the same hairstyle. Let alone all of the other problems. But, like, that is such an... See, I'm not a fashion person. I didn't notice this as, like, my first thing. But now that people have pointed it out, I can't unsee it.
Geometry. It's the same texture assets. It's simply going through a different form of lighting that, from Nvidia's perspective, is kind of like next generation and transformative. And when you first...
when you see it side by side is where it is so fucking obvious that, like... I didn't even realize how bad it was. Like, they actually have just given her more makeup. Holy shit, actually... Oh, so the scene's just lit entirely differently, right? Like, there's a backlight here from this light. Now she's got, like, studio lighting on her.
See that shot, it's quite difficult to argue with that. I mean, you know, when you flick between the two, which one would you rather play? It's a bit of a no-brainer, isn't it?
Very
Sorry,
much.
Richard,
True.
but with all due respect, check your comment section. No, we gamers do not find this hard to argue.
I don't know if it's going to come up in the video, but do you know what you actually need to run the DLSS 5 stuff right now? Or do you know what the demos were powered by? Do you think people mostly know Grace Ashcroft as being the DLSS 5 girl? I'm sure some people, but Requiem was such a massive game. Yeah. Not just 2 GPUs. The demos were 2 5090s. Shut the fuck up about RAM. 2 5090s is crazy. I think they're like $4,000 here. Let me just double check. Like, you want to talk about RAM being expensive? Fucking 2 5090s. What is that? Let's actually check. Sorry, I was wrong. Oh, they're all sold out as well. The cheapest one is $5,800. So that would be about $11,500 worth of GPUs to make your game look worse. Yeah, I don't know what that... Let me find out. 11.5K to AUD to real money. That's about $8,000.
Argue with. This is AI slop coming for our games, people. And by the way, it's not some magic performance boost here either. It's not really a trade-off where you get more performance and better graphics in return for accepting some of the characters' faces being replaced. No, Nvidia had to use 2 5090s to turn Grace and Resident Evil...
See, I don't like earlier versions of DLSS. I don't like frame gen. I'm not a fan of this upscaling or, like... it's two different things. Upscaling and then frame generation, like fake frame tech. However, I understand why people use it, right? I understand why someone likes frame gen, why someone likes upscaling with DLSS, because you do get more performance. I don't like it because it ended up leading to game developers building games that rely on it. The problem in this case is the games look worse and they run worse. So there's actually nothing positive you get from it.
Level 9 into a blonde Instagram model wearing extra makeup. I'm sorry, but for me, the scariest...
I want to see what it does to, like, an anime-style game. I really want to see what it does to, like, Trails in the Sky or something like that.
Thing isn't the idea that all main characters in video games will start to look like those horny yet creepy AI-generated space babe videos that keep getting spammed on YouTube.
So you know how there's this, like... You know you see a game and you're like, that's UE5, right? Like, you don't even need to know the engine. You look at a game, you're like, that's UE5. Like, you just know it's UE5. I have a feeling that the same thing's gonna happen here with DLSS 5. You just look at a face, you're like, that's DLSS 5, right? Like, there's something about the look, and all of the demos of it had that same sort of Instagram studio lighting look to them.
No, the scariest thing to me is that Nvidia proudly shared this and thought it would get praise.
No. This video is from 2 days ago, so I don't know if he's got like a more up-to-date one. Probably not. Videos. No. Jensen Huang. DLSS 5. It's even better than that. Not only did it get published as, like, a good thing, Jensen Huang said, well, first of all, they're completely wrong. Regarding the criticism. The reason for that is because, as I've explained very carefully, DLSS 5 fuses controllability of good job, Tom's Hardware, geometry, textures, and everything about the game with generative AI. He added, developers can still fine-tune the generative AI to make it match their style, adding that DLSS 5 adds generative capability to the existing geometry of the game, but that it doesn't change the artistic control. It's not post-processing. It's not post-processing at the frame level. It's generative control at the geometry level. So it's not changing the geometry, but it is changing the geometry. Also, no one cares if it's post or pre-processing. The result is the same. It looks bad.
What if DLSS 5 could be reversed to turn stupid photorealism into anime games at real time?
So there's this post that's been going around. I'll see if I can find it. Where it's like, this is the future of games with DLSS 5. I don't know if I'll be able to find it because there's just so much shit posting about DLSS 5. Sorry, I'll let you guys look at this one while I try to track it down. I don't know how to find it. Is it on my likes, maybe? Did I like the post? Maybe I liked the post. I don't think I did. But there was this post I saw going around where it was basically, like, a low poly game, and then it's just... No, I don't think I sent it to you. It was basically a picture of a low poly game, and the idea is in the future, DLSS 5 or whatever future tech you have would just generate all of the textures in between. Like there's that's where I expect the tech to go. Where it's like game developers just don't bother actually like making the game and then just rely on generating everything in real time.
Thank God it's not, because it is exposing Jensen here. I mean, it tells you how out to lunch the tech titan.
Here's the thing, Jensen doesn't care. Jensen does not care. Nvidia profit chart. Is this it? Yeah, revenue by segment. Jensen does not give a shit what you say as a gamer. Literally zero fucks. The reason for that is the green line. Why would he care what gamers have to say? The green line is the data center, and this is only Q2 2025. Gaming hasn't been getting any bigger. Like, up until, like it got bigger during COVID, and then it shrunk back down. And it's been pretty much static, little growth, maybe like 1%, 0.5% growth. The green bar is all that matters. When your green bar is this, you're going to lean heavily into what data centers want.
Are
and data centers love this
right now, to the point where they have no idea what we want, they have no idea what looks good, and they have no idea how.
Also, just before anyone starts praising AMD, FSR Diamond. This went completely under the radar because of the whole DLSS 5 stuff. FSR Diamond is also going to be doing something akin to this. We're not really sure fully on the details, but something akin to this.
Stupid their looks to us. I mean, it's not even just the Instagramification of the faces of the characters, by the way. I spoke with several horrified game devs today that pointed out things to me like, well, Matt Cassell's the director and founder of Alderaan Games, who is the guest on Broken Silicon this week, by the way.
You know what I'm not surprised about at all? That Todd Howard's a fan of this. Todd Howard, famous for releasing every single game completely broken and then leaving it up to the modders to fix it. Loves the idea of generating textures at real time. Why am I not surprised?
Out that the shadows and ambient occlusion are basically stripped out of multiple images he analyzed. He sent me some pictures of Oblivion. That's not an improvement. It's just different, and it took two 5090s to just make it look different. Or also look at this. Here, DLSS 5 seems to strip out the time of day in the art style in favor of making it look arguably like a typical photo taken.
Like the fact that they're saying, oh, the developers have control of it. Okay, the developers have, let's just assume developers have complete control. Why is all of the marketing making the games look worse? Simple question. If you're going to show a demo, why is the demo not showing it in the best possible light? Why is the demo not a cherry-picked, this is the best thing we possibly have, rather than every single shot looking worse?
In real life. But that's the thing. That doesn't mean that the image is better. That just looks like a real photo taken by a smartphone in the middle of a cloudy day. But that's not what the devs wanted with Oblivion. I mean,
okay, AC Shadows isn't here. Let me show you the AC Shadows one. The AC Shadows one is so egregious. Yeah, here it is. So tell me that the DLSS 5 one doesn't just look like a cosplay photo. Do you know what I think it is? I think it's the same thing with why we don't do higher frame rates for movies. Why we don't do higher frame rates, especially for sitcoms. So one thing that was noticed when you made higher frame rate movies is people start to notice that it feels like they're on a set. It feels like they're wearing costumes, right? There's something about having a higher frame rate with real actors that makes you that takes you out of the experience. Something about that lower frame rate makes it feel fake, right? And this is doing the same thing, but for gaming. There are some, like, obviously lighting is real weird here, but there are some parts of it that do look better. But it looks better in a weird way, right? It looks like an airbrushed cosplay photo. That's what it looks like. It looks like, oh, Naoe, whatever fuck her name is doing a cosplay photo on a cliff. This no longer looks and feels like a video game. And that's a still shot. It gets worse in motion. In motion, there's a good reason why they didn't show much motion. The few bits of motion they showed, it has bad artifacting. You have objects appearing and disappearing. I don't know what they were... I know what they were thinking. They're an AI company at this point. That's what they're thinking.
Cyrodiil isn't a real place. It doesn't need to look like I just pulled out a Samsung Galaxy and took a picture in, like, I don't know, a college campus in England, which is what it now looks like to me. Actually, on the note of Samsung, they recently had a scandal where they got called out for photoshopping pre-taken professional pictures of the moon into users' pictures, replacing new authentic pictures that people took to remember good memories and put in pre-captured images. And they claimed they did so with space zoom technology.
So the way someone found out about this is they took a picture of the moon, and it just replaced the picture that was there.
No, it was just photoshopping in different pictures of the moon. And, you know, I've always joked to my brother and Broken Silicon co-host on news episodes that it would be so sad if in the future, like, these companies tried to save data on our phones by not even really taking the pictures, by just analyzing them and then assembling already taken pictures so you store less data and it kind of looks better. And yet the memory you tried to have stored in your phone isn't a real memory anymore. And I gotta say that I did not see this coming to video games in this way.
I did.
It's absolutely pathetic.
I know people who've been saying things like, wouldn't it be crazy if one day we could just, like, AI a game into any art style we wanted? What if we could take One Piece and then AI it take early One Piece and then AI it into the modern art style? That's something I have heard people say. I have no surprise, like, I'm not surprised at all this is something they're looking into.
And no, I'm not going to bother to talk about the things that looked good. I don't really care. It required two 5090s to do this, and the implications are horrifying. I'm not going to do any positive press coverage of this today. I just don't think this is worth paying attention to in its current form. Let's just wait for final reviews of it near the end of this year, supposedly when DLSS 5 comes out. And hopefully in that form, it will have removed the Instagram filter. And no, by the way, this wasn't an intended attack on Digital Foundry either. This was an attack on Nvidia and what they seemingly are trying to do to get a leg up on AMD and games in a way that I think will make games...
As you might expect with the Digital Foundry video, people in sponsor block marked the entire video as a ad segment. Am I still alive? I'm pretty sure I am. Am I not?
All look
feel like I'm alive.
Arguably worse. Although I would suggest to my colleagues at Digital Foundry, maybe reconsider the enthusiasm a bit, because to me, it did come off as misplaced.
Came off as mad.
Anyways, now I'm going to talk briefly with Brian Heemskirk, the art director at Massive Damage Inc., a game studio. He's a game dev who's been on Broken Silicon many times, and he has a lot to say about this development. Although first, I will have to do an ad for Micro Center. Micro Center is running their Monitor Madness event.
You're not going to buy any RAM
March,
there.
And it will highlight a bracket of some of the best performance monitors.
I wish we had something like Micro Center in Australia. That would be fucking sick.
So please check out the links in the description frequently throughout the month as they highlight the best monitor deals that are continuing to change through March. They will also have two separate stores.
In Sydney, there's something kind of similar, but in Adelaide, there's just like the closest thing you get is like PC case gear, It's nothing like this.
Or opening events where you can sign up to get free 128 gigabyte USBs. Their North
Not
Jersey
PCK
location.
MSY. MSY is what I meant.
Will have a grand reopening specifically. They'll update the store to a similar layout to their other new stores, and the event is currently slated for May. And then there's also the Austin, Texas location that will be coming later this year. Again, you can get 128 gigabyte flash drive there. Both of them, by the way, you have to go to the store to redeem it and get the free 128 gigabyte flash drive.
Wow.
But no purchases required. You just go to the store to get it. Really, you don't have to buy anything else. And yeah, they're going to have a lot more stores coming out, a lot more news about upcoming tech. So make sure you check out the links in the description to see all of that upcoming news. And otherwise, well, I want to thank Micro Center for sponsoring this piece of content. And I want to thank you,
can buy two 5090s
for
there.
waiting through the ad and hopefully clicking on those links to support them. Because now, well, let's have a conversation about what's going on with DLSS.
You won't be able to afford it, but you can buy them.
Brian Heemsker.
Take out a rent, take out a
All
loan.
right, Brian, thanks for joining me. You're the art director at Massive Damage Inc. Of course, anyone who's a fan of Broken Silicon will have seen you on that show, I don't know, 130 times or something like that, but even on quite a lot. But you were one of the developers I was speaking with offline today after I saw the DLSS 5 stuff. And it was interesting because the second I saw the picture of Grace in AI YouTube,
The more you see it, man.
thirst trap slop face mode. I don't know if you've seen those YouTube videos where they swim. Usually, the girls are usually in outer space. By the way, it's interesting.
Yeah,
like
some franchise from the 80s or 90s or some game that
vaguely
the film version of this. That'll be some
But and I had like a visceral reaction where I'm like, oh, I couldn't hate this more. And then I started talking to people in the Moore's Laws at Discord. I think a couple people were like, it seems okay. A couple people also hated it. Over time, I think people are starting to get more and more mad. But then I looked at the comments in the Digital Foundry YouTube video. And I looked at Twitter. I think I saw someone from Hardware.
Let me actually have a look right now. I think they had like 20K likes on a video with 500,000 views or something like that. And what I can tell you from that is there's a lot of dislikes on it. Like that ratio would be fucking... Oh, it's at 1 million views now. It is at 1 million views with 27,000 likes. I would assume... I don't know how it's liked. This video would probably have close to like 80,000 dislikes, maybe more. I won't spoil it. Grace in the segment is headed to a sad occasion, so it doesn't even make sense to have makeup on. She really, like, her model has some makeup on, but nothing like the, like, Instagram level filter they have.
Canucks attacking it too. Maddie Plays from the Colin's Last Stand group. Like, and I was like, oh, no. I think I'm onto something here that I'm not the only one who hates this. But what was your reaction to, because I actually sent you the link. You hadn't seen it yet.
No, I hadn't seen it yet. I saw it. I mean, they showed something like this about 5 or 6 months ago during one of the Nvidia tech conferences, but it was with their own content. We didn't have anything to compare it to. With this, I mean, everyone's playing Resident Evil Requiem, and that's going to impact people's perception of it. My feeling is, I get...
The fact they went with a game that everyone's, like, got so much experience seeing, like, that, I think, also hurt them. If they went with something that people didn't have as much attachment to, I don't think it would have exploded as much as quickly.
What Nvidia is trying to do. Because, like, when you have a mesh, it doesn't have...
Like, if they had demoed it with, like, a tech demo... Obviously, people still would have been mad, but I don't think it would have been as bad.
All the interior stuff. And currently, like, also some bad images are circulating of Resident Evil Requiem where Grace's face looks all hollow and the lighting, and they'll use it to bash PS5.
Yeah, I was like, is this the Xbox Series S version? Because this is not what I've seen on PS5.
Yeah, so the thing is that
Series S version, because this is not what I've seen on PS5.
Yeah, so the thing is that, like, we've removed some of the stuff that used to make games look like what they used to look like. Like, if you watch the Castlevania Lord of Shadow documentary, they talk about how, like, baking ambient occlusion into teeth and stuff made characters look so much better in that period of time. And we're stripping all that out now because it's being done by lighting or ray tracing or path tracing, or it's being less done as texture tricks the way we used to do it. But it's not like up to snuff yet.
It is so crazy that the last, I would say, 8 years of games, we've just been watching games look worse and worse, whilst being gaslit about how much better they look. On the bright side, it has gotten a lot of people to go back and check out games they kind of skipped over, and, you know, go back and play like the Arkham games, just see what it was actually like. Like, not on a console, but like maxed. If you can like go play the Arkham games maxed out on a pretty low end PC now.
It's not up to snuff. So I can see how like Nvidia is trying to brute force it by going around the problem, but it's doing a lot of unintentional consequences, which gives a bit of a like feeling in the gut. It feels less like this character Grace, less consistent necessarily as it goes from frame to frame, and it's just
it also just changes the face.
I don't know how
sometimes.
I feel about it. I feel unsettled because it's completely disaligned from artistic intent. They intended Grace to look a certain way. If you watch the making in Requiem, they have all of this intentionality that goes into it. But
the thing I'll say about that, I know a lot of people bring this point up, Capcom signed off on it. So whether or not the individual artists are like the change, like this was being done, Capcom said, at the very least, we agree that Grace looks like this for whatever amount of money they were paid for it. At the very least, that is the case. So, yes, there is certainly an artistic intent argument. I just don't think it holds water when this company signed off on it. I think you're much better off just saying, I don't care what they intended for it to look for. It looks bad. As an example, right? Concord. All of the characters in Concord look the way that the artist intended for them to look. That doesn't mean they look good.
When you look at this, it's adds more makeup, changes the hair quality, the color of them.
Dyes her hair.
She gets more makeup and she becomes blonde.
Exactly. Well, she was blonde to begin with, but like even more blonde.
She was white haired, kind of like Targaryens in Game of Thrones. Like, no, she wasn't Instagram model blonde.
Well, it feels like it's averaging out the top like 1,000 Instagram portfolios with over 100,000 likes, like 100,000 followers.
Not today.
And then it just becomes the average of that person. Is there a version of this technology where, you know, the game developers can author it? Like when you think about...
they claim they can.
FromSoft doesn't even love what they did with the Demon's Souls remake, right? In terms of the artistic direction that happened in there. And when you see something like Beyond Good and Evil, when they did the remaster, the texturing on it is too realistic and it hurts the artistic intent. We got to be really careful when we are seeing features that are acting like official channels for visuals, but it's making unintentional changes. And I can tell you, going to conferences, if I met some of the artists that were working on this, that see this, they would be very bothered by something like this going into the game.
Yes, DLSS 5,
and I just want to say, too, like the images, and I get to a degree why they did this, but I think in this specific circumstance, it turns into basically lying. Like they showed, I don't know what it was, low graphics mode on PC, again, Xbox Series S performance mode. I don't know, because the Grace
Nvidia does this constantly.
In like the ultra mode on PC or PS5 Pro does not look as hollow and PS2 like as the images Nvidia showed. And were they to show the real Grace, I'm just going to say it, they showed the not real one. If they showed the real ultra quality Grace, the one that I'm playing right now in Resident Evil 9.
Remember when we were just complaining about frame gen? What a simpler time that was.
She doesn't look that, I mean, I don't want to say ugly, just like you said, hollow. She just looks like a different person. I think there's some people who haven't played RE9 that are going, oh, they made her look better. And it's like, no, they showed like ultra low graphics mode and then a different person's face. If you go to ultra mode, she doesn't look worse than Instagram Grace. She just has a different face.
I don't know. This is kind of, I've noticed, and I sent this like I think the last time we talked, but I've noticed a gradual detest coming for this AI like mass averaging look of everything,
averaging everything to look kind of the same,
you know. And it's when they do it with in the video, the Digital Foundry video, and they do it with Star Citizen.
Oh, no, not Starfield.
Starfield. You know, like there's a lot of awkwardness in the visuals there, so I could see how people will be like, "Oh, this is great
Well, I
in
thought
this
half
settings."
of it was pretty.
Well, the funny thing about Starfield is even if they make the faces look better, the facial animation is from like 2010. So if you have these like let's just pretend like they're high quality faces. They're not, but let's just pretend. If you have high quality faces in Starfield, the game still looks like shit. Like it still looks awful because the facial animation is incredibly stiff. Did you see the video about that? The video about the Sega raiding a guy's house? No, I didn't see that one. Wait, what?
Impressive, but the other half I was like, no, this is the same as Grace. Like one of the guys just looks like a guy who's about to tell me to go to crypto.com or something. Like an AI generated ad like of a dude like, come on brothers, let's go. Like I was like, now one of them looked fine, but one of them I'm like, it's just more noticeable with Grace because of course they would be training this AI on more pictures of women who are going to be blonded on Instagram.
Well, there was
more noticeable.
There was a darker skinned guy or whatnot that like you could tell just because of polygons, eyelashes are small things, and it gave him like full on eyeshadow in the one Starfield.
What I want to see is a Ghost of Yotai one where they just turn the Asian woman into a blonde woman. Like, let's just do it. Let's just complete the complete and shitification of everything here.
Yeah.
But anyways, moving forward, I have a few questions here. These were actually sent to me by Matthew Cassell of Alderaan Games. The questions he has for you. Number one, he asked, what would this change in your day-to-day job as an art director? Will it affect the way you make games if this became standard?
If this became standard, like, first of all, it's a big push for realism, and it's pushing it by sidestepping the actual contribution. The actual calculations necessary to make something look real. It's not, actually taking in and, properly taking all the assets, bouncing light off of everything, doing perfect ambient occlusion. It's not doing any of that. Instead, what it's doing is remembering what.
Let me find the thing. Where is it? And people are like, oh, but it's a cinematic. It's a cinematic. Here you go. Here's a picture of DS2. Remember, this is on console. This isn't in DS2 ultra settings on PC. Oh, National Linux 32 blocked Brazil. I did see that one. Yes. People were then claiming that Bazite also blocked Brazil, but that was a Cloudflare error.
Things that look accurate are, and then completely changing all the visuals to try to take an approach to what looks accurate to that. And there's like, I don't know. Are we getting a little bit more bored with all of the hyper realistic games that look exactly the same? What
exactly? Isn't this the exact opposite of what we want? Isn't everyone saying we're tired of games looking the same? We don't always need them to be hyper realistic. Because an example I made in the opening part of this video,
I am so happy that people are finally catching up to me. I've been here for about 5 years now. Thank God people are finally catching up to where I've been for a bit.
I started talking to you now is one of the pictures of Oblivion. I'm like, this doesn't look better. This just looks like I took a picture with my smartphone in a cloudy day in like a university in England. Like it looks like a real picture more so than like some castle in Oblivion, but it doesn't look better. It just kind of looks like a cloudy day in England. That doesn't mean better. That just means everything looks the same now.
Is it more accurate? Sure. But is that the intention for the game? Like,
is Cyrodiil real? No. So,
well, using a Capcom game is kind of interesting because Capcom's bypassed the realistic kind of the issue with realistic visuals for, 3 generations by covering the distance with art direction. They've always been masters at that. And it's what like old Uncharted used to do well. When you see like PS3 gen Uncharted and Last of Us, that stylization bridged the gap. The more realistic they've gone, the harder I think it's been to accept it, actually. That's my stance on it. Maybe some people disagree, but I like when that stylization bridges the visuals. And Capcom are masters of that. So to take...
Again, going back to DS2.
Grace, and to do that to her feels like blasphemy. to me, like it doesn't look, especially like if you play the game, it's different like looking at a screenshot, but like her mannerisms isn't someone that's like made up and prim and proper.
That is something. She's not
nervous. Like, she's a little shaky. It's like
she's a little sloppy visually. She's not good at presentation. And this is the exact, I mean, like, this is the worst character to show it, because it's like this fundamentally makes her a different character.
Yeah. And let's be honest, you can't make Liam more handsome. He's already too handsome.
My girlfriend agrees with you.
Yeah.
When he got out of the car, she was watching me play at the beginning of the game. She's like, "Hello, Daddy." And she remembers Resident Evil 4 from when she was little. So that was extra fun for her, I suppose. But let me ask you this.
Appreciate it.
Would you put less resources into certain types of rendering features if you know it could be fixed in DLSS 5? Because we have already people complaining that, like, well, DLSS and FSR have made it so developers get lazy and don't do AA well because FSR or DLSS will fix it in post. Will this make character models become lazy if they know that it's all just going to become an Instagram model?
Well, and it's also...
I don't expect indie devs to do it, but I 100% expect this from AAA studios.
Like, yes, it could make some developers get lazy. It's not going to make all developers get lazy.
No, but
some are super intentional. I could actually see for the hyper intentional, like Japanese developers, this could almost make them want to avoid PC, because they hate when their games have a lot of unintended stuff done to them. And you know, that seems to be more common in Asian cultures for them to make games and expect people to take it as it is. So obviously Bethesda's different, the modding community is different, but if we can't trust our inputs, right? Because this is really taking a huge leap between what inputs we're putting into an engine, into our assets, and what the end result are. It's jumping a huge gap, but it's doing it with a lot of unintended actions. And if you're just trying to make like a dinosaur chasing game and you want things to look hyper realistic and trying to churn out assets as quickly as possible, like, I don't know, like maybe whatever, like Ark or whatever, a game like that, I could see them doing.
If you're an asset flip game, I'm curious, like, when this gets to the point where like one GPU and a reasonable GPU could do it, I can only imagine what this is going to do for those like shitty Unity asset flips. Like, they're going to like jump up in fidelity, and people are just going to like eat them up. Now, by people, I don't mean smart people, but people nonetheless.
Something like this and not caring that much, but maybe they would. I don't know. But I like FromSoft. Oh my gosh, would they wouldn't want anything to do with this. Would be my guess. So to have people be able to, you know, force with DLSS, right? You can just force it on in your driver. I don't know if this is going to be something that continues. Mind you, keep in mind, this is like down the pipe. Like the demo they showed was running on, I think, two 5090s. One was being used for the game's graphics. One was being used for this. So to, you know, the point where we can get it running in real time on a 4060, 5060 and actually implement it in games is still far off. But I mean, Jensen's talked about a future where essentially the AI portion of the GPU is bigger than the rendering portion of the GPU. And this is kind of what you would expect be the result from that. So
what?
I don't know, man. Like, it's shady times, and like
what a fucking world we're gonna live in, man. You know what? There's gonna come a point where I just say I'm done with new games. If we never had a single new video game, I would still be happy. I have so many games I've never played. You know, I've never played Chrono Trigger. I can go back and play Chrono Trigger. I've never played Metal Gear Solid 1. I've never played fucking, I don't know. I've never played Okami. There's so many good games that I've just never got around to. I've never finished Shadow of the Colossus.
I don't necessarily know if I want to make like hyper realistic games, and I know a lot of devs that don't.
I haven't played. I've only played like before FF10. I've only played 7. I've only played like 3 Dragon Quest games. There's so many games out there. I don't need any new ones.
Like, they want to do that stylization or do something interesting visually, and like this. I think this is creating a scenario where
it turns Princess Peach into like a swimsuit
I'll have to get around to that one. I hear it's really good.
Obviously, it's a Nintendo game, so it wouldn't be on there unless you're modding it. But I'm just thinking of the implications of like where this could go with some games if it. And I noticed too, like in some parts of Grace's face, like her eye shook a little. There's a little bit of that AI hallucination. Like imagine like turning a character around and she just looks like a slightly different blonde.
I think I saw it with the
Oh, this is probably not going to come up. There was a demo. There was part of the FIFA demo where a ball just disappeared from existence.
blink too. There's a frame where she blinked and it was like you could see the whites, or like it didn't look like a blink. It didn't look like an eyelid coming down. It looked like it was trying to figure out what the heck to do with that input. And there was essentially like a popped hole through a mesh that looked like an eye popping through.
But that's what scares me. Like they thought this was worth showing. They're like, oh, this is still early. It could change. And by the way, based on gamers' reactions, I think this is going to change. But I just, they thought this looked good. This reminds me of all the Coca-Cola ad and all. Like you thought this looked good.
I see the people that would like this. Like there's people that every major AI paradigm that comes up, they message me privately and then they send me something that they expect me to care about that I have no interest in whatsoever. Just
let me read a post I put out the other day. The last 24 hours or so have been a phenomenal litmus test for AI content. I am completely convinced that there is a sizable section of the population who are unable to perceive the uncanny valley. For all these people, unless it's growing an extra limb, AI is now I guess I missed a word. AI is now photorealistic. There is a large number of people who are literally unable to see why this is weird. To them, there's nothing off. There's nothing strange. It is perfect. Watching this on my MS Surface that runs Arch, nice.
Show me this, and they're like, oh, look how good this looks. I'm like, this doesn't look good to me at all. Like, it looks unintentional, you know? And the other, like, it looks so averaged out. It's like, even if 10 years ago you could have had one shot. Like
I think that's another good point. It's not necessarily that AI is still terrible. There are some shots where it hides really well, but everything is averaged out. It actually is just the definition of slop, right? Everything is middle of the road, average, okay. And that's kind of where we're going with this tech. So far, I've not seen every time I see an advancement in this AI tech, it all seems to be heading towards that, singular point of everything has the same style.
Video shot framed that way that would look good in a movie or a trailer. Now every shot is framed, like the average of all of those shots in these. And
I saw this. So we can talk about AI content, but one thing I actually am convinced about, I do think AI will take over movies. If you haven't seen a shot from a recent Marvel movie, AI is basically at the level of a Marvel movie. It looks pretty much identical. For those mainstream, effectively human-made slop movies, I do think there is a high probability in the next couple of years that we will see either AI in their pipeline or very heavily produced with AI. Marvel movies are kind of nerd slop. Yeah, and they all look the same. Every single one of them is shot in the exact same way, with the same color grading, with the same framing. I'm so disappointed in modern movies that only watch anime nowadays. Don't worry, because you're going to see it get adopted into anime pipelines as well. But again, you have 60 years of anime that you probably haven't watched. There are so many classics you've never seen. Have you sat down and watched Legend of the Galactic Heroes? I haven't.
Something about it that looks so
Have you seen OG Gundam? I haven't.
One of the things it does correct is subsurface scattering, where light comes in through your face, bounces around off of your bones and your cartilage, and then comes out in different places. And some parts, like your earlobes and your nose, have more hanging skin, so more light penetrates, right? There's things like that.
I want to penetrate Grace.
Immediately creates a solve for, but it's all the unintended extra effects. game developers need to be able to interpret like how realistic do I want my game to be? How much of my artistic intention am I putting in, and what is this fighting with me trying to create visuals? Now, we already have this problem. We have it with like really just the TAA situation and like visuals in general. It's hard to get.
Sure, but this is a whole other level.
This is a different level. This is, you have no control over what is happening intentionality wise with what comes out.
Well, so let me ask you, would you, if this was shipped today, would you add this to one of your games?
No, like I personally wouldn't. And I can imagine going to the conference. Like I had whatever 2-hour conversation with the art director on the Dead Space remake. And I know he would have been like appalled, right? Like just absolutely appalled with this coming over the visuals for his game or whatever. Same at Star Wars. Which one did I talk to? The Jedi Survivor? Talk to one of the lead teams, like the people on the team from that. And they would be like, most of these game devs would be really appalled. And like, really what happens when this gets taken out of people's hands? And
that's the thing, right? The actual game developers, I think most of them probably feel a very similar way. The issue is when you're at a big corpo and there's like 3,000 employees, you're going to do what the executives say. It doesn't matter if that's best for the design, best for the game. If corpo says you're doing something, hey, you're doing it.
And then people start doing custom DLLs that change people's faces or inject themselves into games. Like, is this what we want for every game? Is there a place for it? Sure.
I've not seen the remake
creator in a certain game here or there that we can use to maybe create some good inputs, but Resident Evil Requiem is not the place for it. Let's just say.
No. Well, all right, Brian. I think that's going to do it. I really wanted to get a game dev's quick take on this, especially one who's the lead of art direction at a studio, so I can't thank you enough. Please tell everybody where they can find you or find things you want them to find.
Oh, honestly, just like look into the visual technology behind this. And you can find me online. Just Google my name. I'm notorious online for pixel art, but you can... art, visuals, and the intentionality with visuals is kind of my favorite things in this world. So feel free to send a message or reach out if you want to.
All right. Thank you. And thanks for everybody for watching this. I guess I'll get to closing the video. All right. And so there you go. Well, I guess the final thing I want to say before I close out this video is that right now you're seeing public PR statements on Twitter of different studios saying we're excited about this partnership with Nvidia or this will allow that.
How many of them were paid? Probably most of them.
Because of Nvidia. And I want to say what that is. That's nothing but the PR managers at Nvidia talking to the PR managers at game studios. If you talk to the actual game developers, the people that make the assets, that lead the games, that lead the art direction of games, all of them to a person I've talked to today tells me they hate this. And there you have one of them saying if it was shipped today, from what they've seen, they would not use it. Nvidia, people do not want this. You say this is an early version. Make the final version, please. Just make things look more accurately better and don't replace our games with AI slop. Thank you.
I'm trying to find a post. Give me a second. Presumably he didn't delete it. Yes, here it is. So, there is a man that you may know. His name is Hideo Kojima. Okay, we all know him. He does cool things. He made some video games that you might know. You know, like Metal Gear Solid and Death Stranding and various other things. Now, let me scroll down a little bit to where the post is. Where is it? Who? Exactly. Never heard of him. Where's the post? Kojima, you fucking use Twitter way more than I do. Where? There it is. There it is. He reposted this from Nick Tech. Death Stranding 2 already proved that you don't need generative AI to make extremely realistic faces in video games. This is running smoothly on a PS5 console. This running smoothly on a PS5 console is showing how much progress game graphics made over the years. More importantly, this doesn't look uncanny. Certified Kojima hates DLSS 5. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. Yup. Kojima is a walking W. Let me just show the Kojima Licorice Recoil. Kojima is actually insanely fucking based. You have this picture. This is one of my favorite fucking pictures. I love this. And then you have this other one where he was meeting the head of Xbox at the time, and he was wearing another Licorice Recoil shirt. Absolutely mega fucking based. Meeting Phil Spencer, wearing your fucking anime weeb merch because you're Kojima. And what's he gonna say? You're Kojima. You can do what the fuck you want. Yup. Yup. So even though we have a lot of shitty stuff going on, at least Kojima's around and Kojima's doing cool things. And on that note, for anyone who hasn't got a chance to play it yet, is it right here? Yes, it is. Death Stranding 2 is available for pre-purchase on PC. So if you didn't get a chance to play it on console, holy shit, it's 124 Australian dollars. Yeah, you can now play it on PC. I still need to play the first game. I will get around to doing so. Yeah. Yeah, we will, oh, right. Steam still has not fixed this. You click the developer page, and it takes you to the fucking publisher. Why does it still do this? This has been a problem for like 4 fucking years. If I click the developer, I want the developer, not the publisher. Anyway. You can also play Thomas and Friends if you want to do that. My favorite thing about Thomas and Friends, unrelated, I believe I recall correctly, they made one of the trains a DLC bonus. So you get Thomas, but not the other one. I don't fucking remember the other name. I played a roleplay campaign once where the DM turned famous video game designer Hideo Kojima into a mountain-sized mecha opponent. Oh, gotta love that. Gotta love that. Do we check out anything else for today? Can you wreck the trains in the game? Intentionally? No. But the game is incredibly buggy. Let me see if I can find it. Thomas, Game of the Year. I won't be able to find the post, will I? Did I like the post? Let's see. I forgot to like the post as well. So, the game's incredibly buggy. You can, like, flip the trains out of the world. It's a fucking mess, but people are loving it. Wait, is this the one? Yeah, this is the one, I think. Oh, you don't see it? Sorry. Woo! Here was that first one I showed. Thomas has died. Oh, yeah. So here it is. They made James a $20 DLC for the game, for some reason. What is this? Oh, yep. Okay, here's another one killing Thomas. I have to question, why did they let Thomas be a physics object? Like, there's no reason that Thomas should be a physics object in this game. Like, he's stuck to the rails. The fact that they did that means that a developer was like, wouldn't it be funny if that was possible? Why not? Yeah, exactly. Anyway,